Hello pioneers, in the last episode of our Satisfactory series we began automating turbo motors, but today the complexity ramps up. To meet the demands of one turbo motor manufacturer, we're scaling up everything, doubling computer production, increasing aluminum casing output, and even expanding iron and copper ingot lines. Let's see if our factory can handle this monumental upgrade. Between episodes, I did a little bit of hunting. We've got a couple of hard drives. I was hunting for Mercer spheres, but we found some summer sloop and 4 hard drives on the way. So let's chuck that into our MAM, get some more alternate recipes. It might help us out now that things are getting a lot complicated. We've got a new motor recipe that uses crystal oscillator. No thank you. We've got a new wire recipe that uses caterium. That could be interesting because wires are a problem for us and we can always get more caterium. Let's rescan it because neither of them are immediately helpful. Using limestone, we can make even more iron ingot. Ooh, we can make wire directly out of caterium. That's even better. Alright, scan another hard drive. We'll keep these hard drives on us and then we'll just shove them into MAMs wherever we happen to be in the world. Also just grabbed a few more cooling systems since we have that in surplus and we're not storing it at the moment. Now with my excess Mercer sphere, I wanted to grab the next level of this and this. So personal upload seems pretty useful. And so does this. 7 plus 10. Oh. Alright, let's grab it. I was going to use it for storage, but I guess that's not happening. So we'll grab the ability to upload. I can't do this while I'm researching a hard drive. Oh, apparently I can't research anything while I'm scanning for hard drives. Alright, well we're just going to have to calculate. We've got 12, so we can add 2 more dimensional depots. Let's add it to the radio control units and the fused frames. Or supercomputers maybe. Oh, so hard to decide. Need one more Mercer sphere. Well, there's the fused frames. And I guess we're doing radio control units. I would just have to carry around a stack of supercomputers in the meantime because I want to use 7 for the increased stack of uploads so that we can alleviate our construction issues for a lot of things. So if we carry around a stack of 50 supercomputers, we should be sweet on that front. Now, how's our turbo motors going? I've been doing a lot of hunting, so we should have a few turbo motors to use. We'll carry all those around with us because we want to, we don't want to unlock this particle accelerator yet because I'm going to explore another intermediary power system before we get into nuclear power. But before we do that, we want to get our turbo motors produced at maximum speed. And now we have access to the miner Mark III, so we can alleviate a lot of our production issues. So let's trace the production chain and see how that goes. So our issue currently is radio control units. As you can see, we have no radio control units supplied, and that's for good reason. We need 3.75. And over here where we're producing radio control units, we can see that we have a lot of issues with computers and things like that they're not actually producing. So first of all, we need to increase this because 3.75, we're not even producing that much. So we definitely need a second one of these things. Is that a blender or a manufacturer? It's a manufacturer. So let's drop one of those to start with. Is that in line? Yeah. We will copy the recipe across. And then we'll hook up the inputs and outputs and power. We have Mark V belts now, and we have Mark III miners, so we're not afraid of anything now. We can pretty much double our production of everything. We don't have much usable power. Well, we have a lot of usable power, but our max power thing is almost at cap, so we've got to be a little bit careful. Alright, so crystal oscillators are going in. It's just computers that are a problem, so we're going to go figure out what the issue there is. Let's update our notes here. So now we're producing 5, and we should have an excess of 1.25 that goes into storage, which is good enough for us now. We do have a production multiplier going on here, so it is making 7.5 really. We don't really need the summer sloop on here anymore, but we will adjust accordingly. Now it's happy fun base traceback time because we need to go all the way back and figure out why these aren't being produced. So let's start with computers because there ain't no computers coming across here. So here we are at computers. We haven't even written this down yet. So for RCUs, we need another 5 computers. And we only had a surplus of 0.5, so that explains why there's no computers going in there, but we're going to fix that now. So we need the production of 15 or preferably 20. So we probably want to just double up our computers. Oh man, that's going to be nasty. But currently we have 2 at 100%. And then if we get another 2 at 100%, that's 4 manufacturers doing computers or assemblers, sorry. So with 4, we're going to have to figure out the inputs for that. We're going to need more circuit boards and more crystal oscillators. But even with 4, that's only 13.333, which is actually still not enough. So we might as well just double it up while we're here, right? This is using the new assembler pattern. It looks like it is. All the inputs are coming from here. Fantastic. I was going to do power this episode, but I think tracing back this thing is going to be a whole thing. I might cut through a lot of it then, so that you guys don't have to sit through it, because you've seen me trace back this stuff a billion times. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support Data Engineer Plays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. Alright, we've got 6 manufacturers now, so we're producing 20. So in theory, we should have 5.5 excess of computers, but we've got to supply all of these machines, which is not going to be easy. So let's start with our crystal oscillators, because that's the pain point. So we need 10 crystal oscillators now just for the computers. Let's write that down. So we're producing 7. We need to be producing probably 12-ish. And then we'll have basically no surplus. So we need another 5 machines. So we'll just make 6 more machines, I guess. Oh, actually, these come in singles. So we'll just make 5 more. 5 more. This is insane, this crystal oscillator thing. We need a new recipe for crystal oscillators, honestly. Anyway, I'm going to extend that and I'll be back when it's all done. So this is what a row of 12 manufacturers for crystal oscillators looks like. It's pretty insane. It's going to be very interesting designing the outside end of this factory to make it look decent, but we'll worry about that one day. That's a future Alan problem. But present Alan needs to figure out how the heck to get the inputs for this thing. Let's write down what we're producing. In theory, 12, and we're using 11.25. So we should actually still have 0.75 remaining. Alright, I'm going to trace back the inputs for the crystal oscillator. It's not going to be easy. We need to make sure we're supplying all of this stuff times 12. And here come the downstream impacts, because the first component is reinforced iron plate. So we're going to need more assemblers for this. I did rebuild all these assemblers. So let's slap down another 2 more, and I'll hook that up. You know the drill. I'll hook that up and then I'll update everything. So with 10 assemblers now producing reinforced iron plate, we're making 56.25, leaving us with an availability of 4.25 surplus, which is good. 30 of which are being used for crystal oscillators and then modular frames and smart plating. So we need to go assess the downstream impact of this now. And herein we have our first problem. 187.5 iron plates required. Our 180 is no longer enough, so we're going to have to boost up our iron plate production. Currently, these 2 miners are supplying the iron plates, and they're producing the 270, which is the Mark III belt equivalent. We need to upgrade this to a Mark IV belt. So we can either use our miners, or we can just use power shards. And I'm going to go with power shards, because I don't feel like we need to use our miners yet. So we're going to get this to Mark IV and double up our iron supply. We'll use our Mark III miners when they become absolutely necessary. So 240 plus 240, that's a Mark III belt. 2 Mark III belts feeding into this. This needs to become Mark IV now. I'm going to trace this entire line back to base now. It's a very long line. It goes all the way up there, but we're just going to follow it and trace it all to Mark IV so that we get the full 480, and then we'll upgrade the smelters and we should have way more iron plates. I'm going to double up our iron plate production basically. And we're going to need it. While we were doing all that, our hard drive is now complete, so we get to choose between a compacted steel ingot, which uses compacted coal and iron to make steel ingots. I guess that's better. Or an alternate for cooling device. Interesting. This could be useful. It uses, what, more heatsink? And it doesn't use water anymore. Might use that. Before we do more hard drives, we wanted to do our alien tech. Let's get our uploader going. And with our last 7, let's get more dimensional storage. Third stack will be very useful.
Unlocked. Storage dimension and pocket dimension now connected both ways and stable. Parts can now be uploaded to the storage dimension directly from the inventory. Note: the storage dimension now understands the boundaries of the pocket dimension and recognizes the distinction between matter belonging to the Pioneer's inventory and matter belonging to the Pioneer.
The window within a window within the shallows within the deep, curling around itself separately, echoes strangely.
I'm sure strange is the correct term for what this must feel like to you. Dimensional expansion increased to 300%. New understanding of matter manipulation technology allows the dimensional storage to deconstruct all matter to the subatomic level, storing its elementary particles until the part is recalled.
You are digging into deeper layers. Shallow matter contains window symphonies and void songs and deep echoes.
It is fascinating what one can find out simply by looking closer.
Anyway, back to work. We're tracing this belt. Alright, that entire belt of iron should now be coming into our base at Mark 4, which is 480. We can now go double the smelters. And with that, our new iron smelters are online. We've doubled it up to 480 now. So let's reflect that in the notes. And we'll just turn all of that into plate. So I'm going to go upstairs and add the constructors to turn them into plates, and I'll be back when that's done. Alright, we now have 16 constructors making iron plates. Update our notes accordingly. So let's just confirm that all consumes it. So 16 times 30. That's a 480 iron ingots fully consumed, and it's outputting 20. So 320 iron plate to play with now. 132 left. Fantastic. Alright, I think our iron plates are going to be sorted for quite the near distant future. The next thing we've got to work on is the wire. So each assembler takes 37.5 wire to produce reinforced iron plates. So that's gone from 300 to 375 now. That is also slightly above what a Mark III belt can supply. So we've got to trace the belt. And also 375 plus 120 takes us to 495, which is 15 under what we can supply here. So we need to increase the entire copper production line, which is going to be fun. I guess this copper production is going to be the first to go up to Mark 5, I guess. So I'm going to do all that, and then I'll come back and talk about it when it's done. This is going to take a while. You know what, let's do this exercise together, because I think this is the first time we're doing something into Mark 5. So it's something new, and we should probably do it together. So firstly, let's get this a lift up to Mark 5, and then let's trace this belt back and get it to Mark 5. So this is coming from our new copper mine. Oh man, it's so hard to tell the difference between a Mark 4 and a Mark 5 belt. What is it, just slightly fatter? There's actually no difference. Fantastic. That's not going to cause us to make any silly mistakes at all. Lucky we have plenty of alclad aluminum sheet to do this. But this is quite a long belt as well. Literally my furthest away belt. Gotta get this lift to Mark 5. And then we... Oh no! I'm dead. Oh, I'm alive. Put our jetpack back on, because we're outside of the distance now of our power. Anyway, before we were rudely interrupted by gravity, let's carry on. So this is already Mark 5, right? Yep. Alright, let's keep going. This one... I swear I'm going to miss a section and we're not actually going to get Mark 5 performance. This is too easy to like miss a section. I wish there was like an option to do like all connected belts. But I suppose this is where being a careful engineer comes in. Alright, cool. So that output is Mark 5. The rest of this probably just needs to be Mark 4. But to supply a full Mark 5 belt, let's look at the numbers. A Mark 5 belt carries 780. So that's what we're going for. These miners are producing some random number of ore. So let's just upgrade all three to our new Mark 3 miner. We are missing Portable miners only. Fantastic. So we need quite a few. I'm just gonna scan some hard drives while I'm here. Anyway, put down our equipment workshop and build ourselves a bunch of portable miners. I think we need 9. There's our 9. I don't think we actually need 9, but fine. Alright, our first Mark III miner is going down. It looks exactly the same as a Mark II miner. Does it actually look exactly the same? Or is it like bigger or better in any way? I have no idea. We should probably like paint these a color so that we know they're different. We'll paint them purple as in they're epic. You know, the green is uncommon, blue is rare, purple is epic style, MMO style thing. So these Mark III miners by default produce 240. So 3 of them is 720. We need 780. So we need to put power shard in one of them and increase it by 60. So we need to get this to 300. Okay. That should be the 780, which is a full belt. Just make sure everything can carry that. Okay, that should all merge, and now this should be at maximum throughput. I don't like how it's stopping every now and then. Now, I think it's stopping because the stuff back at base isn't consuming it all. But let me just trace this back and make sure it is all Mark V. Yeah, so everything leading to the factory is Mark V now. Do some quick maths. So 780 divided by 30 is 26. 26 is, yeah, 6.5 sets of 4. So we need 6 sets of 4. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we've got 4 sets. We need to add 2 more sets of this to it, and then we need to overclock a couple of machines. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back when it's done. And just like that, we now have 6 sets of 4 smelters doing copper. That doesn't quite give us 780. That gives us, so 6 times 4, 24 times 30, 720. We're 60 short, but we can fix that with power slugs. So we want this one to produce another 30. And we want this one to produce another 30. It's an awkward number, but it is what it is. But that now gets us our full belt of 780. So now we have 300 extra available for copper wire. We need to split that 300 into 2 150 belts and increase our copper wire production. So let's have a look at our copper wire. Currently we have each one consuming 15. And we have 4 sets of 4, so that's 16 machines. Let's just double check our mass. So that's consuming 240, sorry. So we want each side to consume 390. So that's, again, 26 machines. So we're going to go for 24, which means we need to increase it by 2 more sets on each side and then overclock some of these machines. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that, and then I'll come back and I'll talk about it. We're going to increase it this way some more. Alright, with that, our copper production is now doubled, our copper wire, and we have updated all our notes. We'll take a look. This side is the one that's supplying cables, is now producing 780, a full Mark V belt worth. We got 300 available left. We will upgrade our cables because our cables are also in deficit at some point, but that's not relevant right now. What is relevant is this belt, which is currently at 780, and we've only got 285 left because the whole point of doing all that was to supply our reinforced iron plates at 375. So our Mark III belt is 480, right? So as long as it's a Mark IV belt going out, we should be sweet, but it doesn't look like it is. So I might need to, wait, no, it kind of is. That's conveyor lift Mark IV. We might as well just upgrade all of this to Mark V because it is a Mark V belt of copper wire. So let's trace that through and upgrade everything to Mark V. So there's the copper wire coming in. We'll upgrade that to Mark V. And then this is the one that's going over to the reinforced iron plate. And then this side should be going out to stators, if I can get over there. So yeah, this one goes to the stators, I believe. Yep, goes out. And that one doesn't need to be upgraded. But this belt, let's follow it and upgrade it to Mark V to ensure that all our reinforced iron plates are produced properly. I don't think it needs to be Mark V, but We might as well. At least going into here is Mark 5. Now, let's see what's wrong with everything else. Let's debug it. Nothing is wrong. We're just producing way too many reinforced iron plate at the moment, which is good. All right, fantastic. That is one component of our crystal oscillators down. It's time to backtrace the rest. So yeah, we should finally have the correct supply to be producing all 56 reinforced iron plate now. Speak of the devil, the next thing we need to do is cable. So we need to double up the production of cable. We were already in deficit, but that's fine because we can consume a full Mark 5 belt and output a full Mark 5 belt of cable. So I'm going to get all that upgraded next. Actually, surprisingly not difficult to do because we already have the 12 machines. So now we can consume a full 780 belt of copper wire. So let's just do the maths. 780 divided by 16 is 13 machines. So we'll get 12 machines all clocked at 100%. And that should provide us the cables that we need. Why am I copying the settings? Let's just drag the production bar up. That way I don't have to get a bunch of cables in my inventory. Now the awkward number of Mark 5 means that one of these machines can be doubled up to work as a 13th machine. So we'll chuck in these power slugs in here, power shards, sorry. And we basically have 13 machines producing 30 each. So now our production is 390 for cables, which is just over a... Wait, no, that's still okay for a Mark 4 belt because Mark 4 is 480, right? So we've got 390, means we have 47 deficit available. So we've gotten rid of our deficit and we're actually in surplus again, even with the automated wiring, which is fantastic. We just got to make sure all of this is Mark 4, which it is. Wait, going in it needs to be Mark 5, sorry. So we got to make sure that's Mark 5. This lift we did upgrade already to Mark 5, right? Or maybe we didn't. So we're going to upgrade this one to Mark 5. We upgraded the inside belt to Mark 5, I think. Yeah, the inside belt's upgraded to Mark 5. This lift needs to be Mark 5. And this cable, the wire needs to be supplied in here at Mark 5. So let me upgrade all of that. And just like that, we should have all our cable machines producing at Mark 5. These belts coming out is Mark 3. Mark 3 is not quite fast enough. Let's just upgrade it to Mark 5 just so that we don't have any issues. I know these ones are Mark 4. Mark 4 is actually good enough, but we don't need Mark 5 because Mark 4 is 480, right? But everything currently is Mark 3, so we got it out the door at Mark 4. Oh god, now my confusing and terrible belting is coming to bite me in the bum. But let's lift the cables up at Mark 4. Then it's going over here to be split. Gotta figure out where that is. Yeah, so that needs to be Mark 4 at least. And then where is it being split into? It's being split into this machine, which is our automated wiring. That doesn't need to be Mark 4, but the other split does. It's already Mark 4. I think everything going up beyond here is all Mark 4, so we're sweet on that front. Yeah, all this is all Mark 4 because it's all new stuff. All right, cool. That's cables dealt with. And we've updated the notes for cables because now it requires the 168 or whatever it is for the oscillated... I've already forgotten what I'm even trying to make. For the crystal oscillators, it needs 168, leaving us with 47 cable remaining. And finally, we now need to do the quartz crystal. Our 12 crystal oscillator machines is now consuming 12 times 18, so 216 quartz crystal. And we're only producing 180, so we need to increase that as well. But I don't think we're consuming the full belt of gems at the moment, or the raw quartz at the moment, because we didn't increase our silica production yet. So we can just use the excess gems. We don't need to upgrade anything. We just need to add more assemblers. So I'm going to go do that. Oh, wow. I didn't even connect the old assemblers to this thing. Terrible. But yeah, we just need to add another 4 probably. And I'll come back when that is all done. And that is done. We've added another 4 machines. We've hooked it all up, upgraded all the belts to Mark 4 because we only need to carry 270, which is actually just a Mark 3 belt, but we've upgraded it to Mark 4. And now we're using 216 for crystal oscillators, and we should have another 54 available. So now our crystal oscillators should be properly supplied with everything. Let's just go double check. Don't want to assume anything anymore at this point in the game. So in theory, all of these should be functional. and they're not. Why is that? Let's have a look at which belt is missing. I see a full belt of everything, but something's not connected. There we go. The raw quartz. And there we go. Now with that, everything should be fully supplied, and all 12 of these crazy crystal oscillator machines should be functional now, providing us a measly 12 crystal oscillators per minute. Terrible, right? Useless. Absolutely useless. And we're only getting an excess of 0.75. But luckily we are in excess, and we're not going to even have that for very long, because we might need to increase our radio control unit production, in which case we're going to be in deficit again. But the good thing is we put the raw materials of this in such excess that we can just add like 2 or 3 more machines over there with no issue. It's just infinite. We're going to end up with like 200 of these machines by the end of this. But let's go back to computers now, because we're not done. So if we look at our computers, we doubled it up to produce 20 computers per minute, but we need the circuit boards to supply that. We've got the crystal oscillators now, so the crystal oscillators are happy. The circuit boards are not. Why are you guys not doing anything? Trying to figure out. It should tell me that the circuit boards are lacking, not the crystal oscillators. Well, hopefully now that everything's hooked up, it should eventually saturate. I'm hoping. Okay, please just work. Anyway, circuit boards. So, I've forgotten how many machines of this we had. I think we have 6 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running at full pelt, which means we need 30 circuit boards. Let's go downstairs. Oh, well, circuit boards are right here, I think. The computers now need 30, and we're only producing 30, so we need to produce an extra 12.5 to satisfy the rest. I'm going to go upgrade that, and then I'll come talk about it when it's done. I think our MAM is also done, so let's scan another hard drive. We've got an alternate recipe for battery already, and we've got these coke steel ingots. That might be useful because we do produce a lot of petroleum coke that we're not using for anything. So if we can just add iron ore to the coke, we can make steel on site over there if we need steel for whatever reason over there. So let's just get that, and we'll scan another hard drive. Alright, we've extended another 2 assemblers for circuit boards now. And they'll slowly fill up, but we need to sort out our inputs again because it's not that straightforward as usual. So with 45, we still only have an excess of 2.5. These numbers are now correct, but we should be supplying the correct amount of circuit boards now, which is good. What is happening with this splitter? What is this splitter? Why is there a splitter that splits nothing? Oh wait, no, it's this output. Yeah, it's a circuit board splitter, right? Alright, cool. Oh no, we gotta get the circuit boards actually going out because I dismantled it. And now we gotta fix all this again. There we go. Alright, circuit boards are now flowing again. Fantastic. And once they saturate, they should all be flowing, except we don't probably have enough of the input to supply it. So let's trace back the copper sheet now, which should be just below it. So with 6 machines now, circuits now require 90. And with all that, we should be in deficit now. Let me just do the maths. We need 175. And we're producing 160, so we need to increase our copper sheets. Now, copper sheets are being supplied from below where we did increase the copper, so it should be reasonably easy to do this because we should have a spare 110 at the moment for copper sheets. We will increase it a little bit. I'll be back when that's done. Alright, so I've added another 4 copper sheet constructors, and we're bringing all of that out onto a Mark IV belt. And that should all be fine. I've also added these little signs to separate the sets of 4 units. That way I can very easily count them because I've noticed I've been like counting all my machines to figure out how many there are. So this will be very easy. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 4. That's 24. So we'll update all those numbers. So with 24, we are now producing 240. So we should be in excess of 65 now. That is fantastic because we're going to need that. And we're going to update our input. So with 24, that's 240, we're taking 480 copper ingots. That was an entire belt of copper ingots, our old belt. But we've upgraded this, haven't we? No, we haven't. Oh, no. Crap. Alright, well, we gotta upgrade this now because we're deficit of 50 for the alclad aluminum. Alright, let me trace that back too. So we doubled up this copper, but we're already using up all this copper. Well, we're not. Or are we? Wait, we are using it all up. Because we doubled up our wires now. Gotta update my notes. Yeah. So this entire belt is now Mark 5. We've got to get this to Mark 5 as well now. So, well, you've seen it all before. So when that's done, I'll come back and talk about it. And with that, both our smelter arrays for copper are now Mark 5, which is absolutely just crazy bananas. This is the limit of our copper production, by the way. We can't make any more. If we use up this copper, we're screwed until Mark 6. Oh man, it doesn't last long. Well, Mark 5 is not quite double Mark 4, so that's why we're struggling a little bit. It's only like 1.5 times Mark 4, so yeah. These are all maxed out, that's good. Good. Everything's connected, everything is working, fantastic. I've upgraded these belts to Mark 5. We need to upgrade this to Mark 5 to carry it up. Carrying it down to do alclad aluminum sheets can be Mark 4, don't care. But going up needs to be Mark 5 now, and then therefore our copper sheets are now properly supplied. Oh man, this is just craziness. Yeah, so now we should have our proper production of 240 copper sheets, which actually consumes 480 ingots. And that should be sweet. Why were we doing all that? I don't even remember. We were doing circuit boards. So now our circuit boards should be properly supplied with copper sheets, but are they properly supplied with plastic? We had 6 circuit board makers and we're consuming 30 plastic, which is 180. So no, the answer is no, we are not fully supplied with plastic. 180, we are actually in deficit of plastic again. Oh man, we need to go increase our plastic production now. Alright, well, I will be back. We're going to Nymeria and we're going to boost our plastic production. So for a quick temporary boost, what I've done is added 3 more refineries over here to make residual plastic. They only make 20 per minute, so we're only getting another 60. But that should be enough to supply us for now, putting us to a total of 260. Now, I'm not sure how reliable this is, but we'll see. Unfortunately, I can't build more of these because of this stupid rock in the way. So we might have to convert like maybe this fabric thing over to the other side and maybe tile out that way. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this for now, but now we have 60 and hopefully that 60 is enough to supply our circuit boards. Right, with that extra 60 plastic, we are in excess of plastic, which means our circuit boards should be all good. Our computers, on the other hand, they're not producing at the moment, but I can see they are slowly coming through the manifold and accumulating. Because this 100 crystal oscillators, oh, it's so stupid that they store 100 crystal oscillators in the box. Because it takes so long for it to get to the back of the manifold. So at the moment, we're at 100 here. 37 have been stocked here, and they're slowly making their way through, very, very slowly. So these back 3 aren't working yet, but it's going to take some time for it to saturate, probably hours. But eventually, we should be now finally getting our target of 20 computers per minute. It's going to take hours for it to fully saturate, but I believe that it will finally do that. Now, with that being done, what were we actually trying to do? I've completely forgotten. Why did we even need to do all that? we have to go back now. I think we were trying to make turbo motors fully saturated, right? And to make turbo motors fully saturated, we need radio control units at 3.75. So we doubled up our radio control unit production. Okay, and they take computers, right? And they also take crystal oscillators. So we've doubled it up. So we need to make sure we double up the crystal oscillator usage as well as their final component of aluminum casing. So we've tackled the computers. I know they still don't look like they're being supplied, but they are, trust me. Then we need to do the crystal oscillators and aluminum casing. So now we need 2.5 crystal oscillators. So we do need to make more crystal oscillators. So I'm going to do that again. You've seen it 100 times. So I'm going to extend it by another 2 or 3 machines. All right. Back in circles we go again. I've added 3 more crystal oscillator machines. Oh man. Now we're producing 15, so we're in surplus of 2.5 in theory, and we've got enough for the radio control units in theory. That's going to take forever to saturate, but at least we're in surplus. Now, that caused a lot of issues, so I had to add some more reinforced iron plate makers. The downstream impact of that was fine because we're making plenty of cable and plenty of copper wire now. Sorry, we're making plenty of copper wire and iron plates. This is getting a bit of a stretch. All of it is now being used for crystal oscillator, and the cables are a little bit of a stretch now because we're using all of it for crystal oscillator. In fact, we only have an excess of 5 cable, which is pretty much all we can squeeze out at the moment. But with that, we should have enough crystal oscillators for our radio control units, and that should mean we have enough radio control units to make the turbo motors, in theory, once everything saturates through the manifolds, which is going to take a while, assuming I've done everything correctly, but we'll have to monitor and observe. But yeah, we should be getting more computers eventually. Now, the next thing is we need to, wow, what the heck? There's like 100 crystal oscillators in here and no computers. So that crystal oscillators have saturated this side of the manifold perfectly fine. So the next thing we need to deal with is the aluminum casing, because now we have 2 of these machines. We're consuming 80. So back on the ground floor, let's have a look. So this is going to 80, and 80 plus 75 is 155. So now we're in a negative 55 deficit, which means we need more of these machines. So I'm going to increase the number of constructors making this. That shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, so actually these were all underclocked, so I've just clocked them at 100%, and at 100% we should be producing enough. Unfortunately, they consume so much aluminum ingot, 90 per machine. 90 times 4, that's 360, and we've got a 120 being consumed here, that's 480, which is a full Mark IV belt, which means we need to go to our aluminum processing Alumaxor. We have to go to Alumaxor, and we have to increase all of the production over there, which we can do now because we have a Mark III miner. Our only deficit over there was coal at the time. Oh, actually coal and quartz was not being supplied enough. So we've got to redo all the mass and increase the production over there. All right, we are back, and I think I've gone kind of insane in the membrane here doing this, but I think I've got this going pretty well. Maybe. Hold on one second. Yeah, sorry. It is working. It's just because things aren't being fully consumed, so everything's kind of stalled a little bit. I'm not going to bother coloring any of the pipes in this upgrade. This is an absolute massive upgrade. I think I've been working on it for the last 2 hours just because how complex it was. I made the stupid decision of going, well, since I'm here upgrading this thing, I might as well upgrade it to Mark 5 levels and try to get 780 aluminum ingot out instead of 300. Because I wanted just a little bit more aluminum ingot, but I didn't need double or Mark 5 belt. But I was like, well, if we upgrade it to Mark 4, then we're going to have to come back and upgrade it to Mark 5 later anyway. So I decided the stupid thing of trying to upgrade straight to Mark 5, which bit me in the bum. Because while it's all good to make 12 foundries to do this, because of the volume input required being something stupid like 100, wait, not this one, this one's doubled up, being like 90 aluminum scrap, we can't actually make all of this in one set, if that makes sense, like one set of belts. So you'll notice how I've split my machines in half, where 6 of them are being fed by one belt, and then 6 of them are being fed by a second belt, because even at Mark 5, we cannot supply the amount of aluminum scrap required for all those machines. 13 machines to produce the 780 ingot would require 170 scrap, and we don't have the belt to do that. So we basically split it into 2 sets of machines, 6 machines and 6 machines. One of them is double boosted so that we get that excess of up to 780. So we are producing a full 780 amount of aluminum ingot, basically. Right. And we've split it into 2 machines. Now, that has all sorts of weird downstream impacts because, again, the amount of water and aluminum solution required is just over a Mark II pipeline. So again, we've had to split these machines into 2 sets, one producing 1.75 machines as one set, 1.5 machines as another. And then even here, we're going to have issues because to supply that, we've needed to split the alumina solution maker into 2 sets of machines. And even then, we have issues with the Mark II pipeline, where the 3.5 machines to supply one of the sets is actually taking more than a Mark II pipeline of water. So yeah, and plus the coal requirement that we need from our impure node. Even upgrading to Mark 3 cannot supply the total 390 coal. I think we're only supplying 300 coal. So we are slightly undersupplied for a Mark 5 belt, but we will fix that hopefully with tier 9 technology. But for now, we should have more than enough aluminum. We've had to extend our silica machines to 9.3 machines and 8 machines to produce the excess silica required. You'll see over here where the water pumps used to be, there's now sort of 3.2 and another 3 over there to supply the excess water. It was a whole ordeal. It took probably 2 hours for me to like redo all the piping. The subfloor is like an absolute mess, crazy mess right now, with double pipes going everywhere because you need to split all the machines in half. It's freaking insane, and I kind of regret doing it because we clearly don't have the tech right now to do this sort of stuff. We should have waited for Mark 3 pipelines and just sat with a full Mark 4 belt of aluminum. But either way, it's done now. We have a Mark 5 belt of aluminum, or nearly a Mark 5 belt of aluminum coming out here. It's going into the truck stop, so now we can work towards around the Mark 5 mark, right? We probably can't do exactly Mark 5. Let's just make sure we've upgraded the lift, the final lift that goes into the truck stop to Mark 5. But now we should have plenty of aluminum ingot to work with. Let's go home. Thankfully, I decided to do that all off camera because that would have been a 3-episode long ordeal. But with all of that scrap, we can now upgrade this belt to Mark 5, wherever that's coming out, over here. And bring this all in at Mark 5. I believe that's the belt with this on it. And then we'll just upgrade everything here to Mark 5 just in case. And now we've got a full Mark 5 belt of input to work with. And we can produce all the aluminum sheets and aluminum whatever that we require for the foreseeable future, I hope. Definitely enough to supply these things. We can even crank these up to max now. Oh, I've already cranked them up to max. So cranking them up to max, they're going to consume 90 times 4, which is 360. And we've got way more than 360. So now we can produce our total 240 and even have 85 left over. These 4 machines are consuming 120, I believe. Yeah. So we are definitely getting 4 machines worth of sheets out. And that's only 120. And I think we've updated those notes already. Yeah, but I'm sure we're going to need the aluminum very soon, but we've pretty much capped out how much aluminum we can make from that source. In fact, if we need more, I'm going to have to go find more coal and belt it in, which is not going to be an easy task. But with that, we have finally completed our task. Our task was to get this machine up and running full time, and look at that, in the 2 hours that we've taken to do this, everything is fully saturated, and this thing is indeed now producing turbo motors at maximum speed, which is what we wanted all along. We can see the computers and all the stuff, oscillators and all that stuff is now fully saturated through the manifold, and we are now producing excess of everything. We have a major issue now, which is, yeah, our blue line way above our power line, and even our usage is creeping up ever so close to the gray line. So yeah, definitely have issues on that front. But hopefully the aluminum front is solved for a while. That's the pros. We can take some of these turbo motors and other frames and things, and we can go unlock a milestone for particle enrichment while we're here. Let's see how many turbo motors are sold. Look how long we've been doing this for. We've gotten 300 billion turbo motors. Oh man, that is crazy. I'm gonna go get our 2500 quick wire. Yeah. Definitely regret embarking on that mission, but hey, it's done now and we don't have to worry about aluminum for a while. But the pain, you guys enjoy my pain? Trust me, there was a lot of pain involved. Splitting that aluminum stack into 2 separate sections, man. But with that, we have completed the last milestone in Tier 8.
Milestone reached. Project part number 9, nuclear pasta, can be created in the particle accelerator. The accelerator has vast and fluctuating power demands, depending on the recipe, so will need careful integration with your factory. Fix-It does not waste, so nuclear waste can be refined by the particle accelerator into plutonium for reuse in the nuclear power plant. Fun fact. Fix-it psychologists suggest factory designs reflect the minds of their creators in unexpected ways. On an unrelated note, your infrastructural choices have been interesting.
Really, Ada? Interesting? Was that an insult? But yes, we have finished. We have finished tier 7, we have finished tier 8 unlocks, which means we are ready to build our space elevator and our nuclear power. Before we do nuclear power, next episode, we do need a bridging power source because I don't even think I have enough power to get me to nuclear power. So what we're going to do next episode is explore turbo fuel. We're going to try to convert Nymeria from using regular fuel to turbo fuel. I'm not sure how that's going to go. Hopefully okay. And once we've done that, then we can start exploring nuclear power and start producing all these phase 4 project parts needed to complete phase 4. And then we should be in tier 9. So all that exciting stuff to look forward to, but we'll call it here for the end of this episode. If you don't want to miss out on the next video, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.